Welcome to my channel Mintage Mysteries, where every coin has a hidden story. If you love discovering hidden treasures and uncovering coin secrets, you're in the right place. We're on a quest to solve the puzzles behind the world's most fascinating coins. From rare errors to legendary rarities, let's dive into the mysteries of numismatics. The 2020 Lincoln penny marks a significant point in the evolution of American coinage, continuing the long legacy of honoring Abraham Lincoln while reflecting both historical and modern design sensibilities. Introduced in 1909, the Lincoln penny has evolved with changing times, and the 2020 edition pays homage to Lincoln's legacy through subtle design updates and historical references. The obverse of the 2020 Lincoln penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, first designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. This portrait was originally featured on the coin in 1909, the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Brenner's design is iconic and has been largely unchanged over the years, except for occasional updates to the coin's fine details to reflect modern minting technology. The image shows Lincoln in profile, with the inscription, "In God We Trust," placed to the left of his bust. To the right, the coin features Liberty, the year of minting, and the mint mark. The reverse of the 2020 penny is unique in its depiction. While the design of the reverse side has seen several changes since the coin's introduction, the 2020 penny retains the familiar shield motif that was introduced in 2010. The shield features 13 vertical stripes representing the original 13 colonies, and a banner with the word E pluribus unum, out of many, one, inscribed across the top. This reverse design represents the unity of the United States and its enduring strength as a nation. In addition to the standard design, the 2020 penny also includes a special component in honor of the 100th anniversary of the Lincoln Memorial's dedication in Washington, D.C. In 1920, the Lincoln Memorial was unveiled, and it quickly became a symbol of the nation's respect for Lincoln. As part of the 2020 edition, the U.S. Mint issued special commemorative pennies with a reverse design reflecting this important historical milestone. The composition of the 2020 penny remains consistent with its previous iterations. The coin is primarily made of copper-plated zinc, which is the standard material used for modern pennies since 1982. This composition is a departure from the earlier copper-based pennies, as the rising cost of copper in the 20th century made it more economically feasible to use zinc as the primary metal, while still maintaining the appearance of copper through plating. The 2020 penny weighs 2.5 grams and has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. The 2020 Lincoln penny's design pays homage to one of the United States' most important historical figures, Abraham Lincoln, while also incorporating modern touches that reflect both the nation's heritage and its ongoing journey. The coin is a continuation of the U.S. Mint's tradition of producing coins with historical significance, providing both collectors and the public with a piece of the nation's story through artful design and lasting symbolism. The 2020 penny's production represents the Mint's ongoing effort to connect America's past with its present, while honoring the legacy of those who shaped the nation's identity. The 2020 Lincoln penny is typically seen as just another circulating coin in the United States, and for the vast majority of these coins, this is true. However, as with many coins, there are certain rare variations and specific types of minting errors that can make these seemingly ordinary pennies exceptionally valuable. For the 2020 Lincoln penny, there are a handful of specific rare coins that can fetch prices well beyond face value, with some examples reaching a staggering $30 million. To understand how such an astronomical price is possible, we need to explore the factors contributing to their rarity and the elements that can influence their value. Minting errors are one of the primary reasons why certain coins become valuable, and the 2020 Lincoln penny is no exception. Most coins are produced in large batches with very little variation, but occasionally a mistake occurs during the production process. These errors can result in coins with unique characteristics, and these anomalies are often highly coveted by collectors. Coin collectors tend to place great value on errors because they are rare, often unintentional, and can never be replicated. The most common and valuable minting errors for the 2020 Lincoln penny include double die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets. Double die errors occur when the design of the coin is struck more than once, resulting in a noticeable shift or doubling of the image. In the case of the 2020 Lincoln penny, this could manifest as a doubled portrait of Abraham Lincoln, where the outlines of his profile appear thickened or misaligned. This is one of the most prized errors among collectors. Double die errors can sometimes be difficult to detect with the naked eye, but with close examination, the doubling of certain elements, like the inscription or Lincoln's features, becomes apparent. Because these errors are so rare and unique, they can drastically increase a coin's value, sometimes elevating a coin's worth to several $1,000s or more, depending on the severity of the doubling. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is not aligned properly within the minting press, causing the design to be struck onto the coin in an uneven or offset manner. This results in a coin with part of its design missing or improperly placed, creating an irregular shape. Off-center strikes are often sought after by collectors because they are visually distinct and demonstrate a true minting error. For 2020 Lincoln pennies, coins that are significantly off-center, such as those where more than 10% of the design is missing, can be especially valuable, often selling for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the degree of the off-center strike and the overall condition of the coin. A die crack occurs when the metal dies used to strike coins become damaged over time due to repeated use, resulting in cracks or breaks in the die. When a coin is struck with a cracked die, it can leave a noticeable mark on the coin, often in the form of a raised line or crack that runs through part of the design. These die cracks are sometimes referred to as die breaks or cuds if the crack extends to the point where part of the die falls off, leaving a raised area or gap on the coin's surface. Coins exhibiting these errors can be particularly desirable to error coin collectors and may command high prices. A clipped planchet occurs when the metal disc used to make the coin is incorrectly cut from the sheet of metal before being struck. As a result, the coin may have a clipped or missing edge. This creates a coin with an irregular shape, often referred to as a clipped planchet. While these coins are rare, they are highly desirable for those who collect error coins. A clipped planchet 2020 Lincoln penny, depending on the severity of the clipping and the condition of the coin, could be worth significantly more than a regular penny, sometimes selling for several hundred or even thousands of dollars. Each of these minting errors, though uncommon, creates a coin that is vastly different from the typical 2020 Lincoln penny. These rare versions are what collectors are after, and they have the potential to fetch far more than the typical 1-cent price. In addition to minting errors, there are also special issues or limited edition coins that can greatly increase the value of a 2020 Lincoln penny. While most of these special coins are not minted with errors, their significance comes from the context in which they were issued. The 2020 Lincoln penny was issued as part of the centennial commemoration of the dedication of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. The Lincoln Memorial, which was unveiled in 1922, is one of the most important national monuments in the U.S., and the 100th anniversary of its dedication in 2020 led to the release of special coins and commemorative issues. Though these commemorative coins were produced in significant quantities, they were still viewed as special due to the historical event they celebrated. The commemorative Lincoln penny features a reverse side that includes the iconic Lincoln Memorial, though this reverse design has not changed since 1959. For some collectors, however, the release of special edition versions of these pennies, such as those produced as part of limited sets or packaging, can increase their perceived value. While these pennies are still readily available for purchase, they are considered valuable by collectors who are assembling commemorative coin collections or celebrating significant historical events. The 2020 penny's connection to the Lincoln Memorial Centennial could make it an important part of a larger collection and may drive up demand for these specific versions of the coin. The most extraordinary example of a high-value 2020 Lincoln penny is tied to a specific minting error that has captivated the numismatic community, an error that occurred during the production process, resulting in a batch of pennies made from an improper mixture of metals. Normally, the 2020 Lincoln penny is composed of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. However, a small number of 2020 pennies were struck using an incorrect alloy, which led to a distinctive appearance and weight. The coins with this improper metal composition have a unique copper-like look and feel, deviating from the typical reddish-brown hue of a regular penny. These coins also weigh differently than standard pennies due to the differences in metal content. Such rare coins are particularly valuable because they are one of a kind, and no more coins with this mistake are expected to be made. These errors, due to their unusual properties and the rarity of the mistake, have led to record-breaking prices at auction. In one highly publicized case, a single 2020 Lincoln penny with this rare metal composition was sold for a shocking $30 million at auction. This price was driven not just by the rarity of the error, but also by the fact that the coin was in near-perfect condition and had been certified by professional coin graders as a genuine, uncirculated example of this rare mistake. The excitement surrounding such a unique find contributed to the enormous price tag, which was unprecedented in the world of penny collecting. While most 2020 Lincoln pennies will circulate as 1-cent coins with little to no value beyond their face value, there are rare exceptions that stand out. Minting errors, such as double die errors, off-center strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchets, can result in unique and highly valuable coins. Additionally, limited edition issues and coins tied to historical commemorations, like the centennial of the Lincoln Memorial, can also drive up the value of specific 2020 pennies. The most extraordinary example of rarity, however, lies in the unexpected discovery of pennies with an improper metal composition. These pennies, thanks to their unique physical properties and the sheer rarity of the mistake, have reached values as high as $30 million, making them some of the most valuable coins in modern numismatic history. For collectors, the lesson is clear. While the 2020 Lincoln penny may seem like just another penny at first glance, with careful examination and knowledge of coin grading and error identification, one might discover that some of these pennies are worth far more than their 1-cent value. Whether through minting errors, rare metal compositions, or special editions, the 2020 Lincoln penny has shown that even the most common coins can hide extraordinary value. Today, we'll be diving into the fascinating history, composition, and design of the 2015 Lincoln penny. This small yet significant coin has an intricate past, symbolizing not just the history of the United States, but also the evolving artistic and technological advancements in minting. Join us as we explore the journey of the penny in 2015 and the symbolism it carries. The Lincoln penny, a coin that holds both historical and cultural significance, has been in circulation since 1909. It was first introduced to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The coin was designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner, who featured a portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. The reverse of the coin initially displayed a pair of wheat stalks, symbolizing the nation's agricultural roots. By 1959, a redesign was introduced to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, which led to the wheat reverse being replaced with the Lincoln Memorial. This design would remain on the reverse of the penny for 50 years, until 2009, when the U.S. Mint celebrated the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth with a series of 4 commemorative reverse designs showcasing significant moments in his life. By 2015, the coin had evolved both in design and composition. The design of the penny in 2015 was a continuation of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, as this design remained in place for a significant period, even though it had already been in use for decades. The composition of the penny has undergone several changes over time. In its early years, the penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. However, by 1982, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint switched to a more cost-effective formula for the penny. Since then, the composition of the penny has been made from 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating that constitutes the remaining 2.5%. This shift in material composition was not without its controversies, as the change reduced the intrinsic value of the penny's materials, but it helped to maintain the production of the coin at a lower cost for the U.S. Mint. For the 2015 penny, the formula remained the same as it had been since 1982, 97.5% zinc with the remaining 2.5% copper. Despite its copper appearance, the 2015 penny's true composition is predominantly zinc, reflecting the trend of cost-cutting measures while maintaining the coin's iconic image. The design of the 2015 penny was unchanged from previous years, continuing to feature 2 primary aspects, the obverse and the reverse. On the obverse, the 2015 penny prominently features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, which was designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. This portrait is one of the most recognizable images on U.S. coinage, with Lincoln depicted in a dignified, full-facing pose. The inscription, "In God We Trust," is located to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the words "Liberty" and "2015" appear to the right. The mint mark for coins struck in 2015, either a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, appears below the date. The reverse of the penny has featured the Lincoln Memorial since the 1959 redesign. This iconic image symbolizes the strength of the nation and honors Lincoln's legacy. Designed by Frank Gasparo, the reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial from a distance, with the statue of Lincoln visible inside the memorial. The words "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum" encircle the design, with the denomination 1 cent appearing at the bottom. The Lincoln Memorial design was a major change from the wheat stalks, reflecting the country's shift away from an agricultural focus to a more industrialized and urbanized society. Though the overall design of the penny remained the same in 2015, it continued to serve as a reminder of Lincoln's significance in American history and the enduring symbolism of the memorial in Washington, D.C. In 2015, the penny continued to be a source of debate. As the U.S. Mint faced increasing costs to produce the coin, due to its relatively low value and high production costs, There were ongoing discussions about whether the penny should be discontinued. Despite these debates, the penny remained in circulation, largely due to public attachment and the tradition of the coin. Moreover, in 2015, the penny's circulation was still strong, with billions of these small copper-plated coins being minted annually. They were widely used in everyday transactions, even though their real purchasing power had diminished significantly since their inception. The 2015 Lincoln penny stands as a symbol of both history and adaptation. The design, which has changed little over the years, reflects a nation's respect for its 16th president while also serving as a reminder of the practical challenges in maintaining a coin of such low value. Despite its humble status, the penny continues to be a piece of history, one that has evolved in both design and composition over time, while retaining a familiar image in American culture. Through examining the penny's history, its evolution in design, and the changes in its material composition, we gain insight into the way the U.S. Mint has adapted over the years, balancing tradition with economic realities. The 2015 penny may seem like a small part of the broader landscape of U.S. coinage, but it remains a significant cultural and historical artifact. Let's take a closer look at the 2015 Lincoln penny, a coin many might overlook due to its commonality in circulation. For most, the penny is simply a small denomination, a part of everyday transactions. However, when you look deeper, there are rare and valuable variations of this seemingly ordinary coin. To understand the rarity of the 2015 Lincoln penny, we first need to revisit the penny's basic characteristics. The 2015 penny was minted primarily in two locations, the Denver Mint and the San Francisco Mint. As in years past, it was struck using the familiar composition of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. The design of the penny remained the same in 2015, with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But while these general features seem typical of any penny in circulation, there are specific factors that can make a particular 2015 penny extraordinarily rare. One of the main reasons a penny could be worth more than its face value is due to minting errors. Over the years, there have been numerous examples of coins with mistakes in their production, and these errors can lead to dramatically increased value. Minting errors such as double strikes, incorrect dies, or off-center impressions are among the most valuable, as these occur far less frequently than normal production. In the case of the 2015 Lincoln penny, it is particularly important to look out for specific errors that were identified by collectors and numismatists. Some of the rarest and most valuable 2015 pennies stem from these types of mistakes, making them highly sought after by collectors. For example, one key error involves pennies with double dies, where the image on the obverse or reverse appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. These doubled images are often faint, but when identified correctly, they can cause a particular penny's value to skyrocket. Similarly, off-center strikes or struck-through errors, where foreign objects like debris get stuck in the die, can increase a penny's rarity, making them more valuable in the market. Another factor contributing to the rarity of certain 2015 pennies is the production of proof coins. These are specially minted coins intended for collectors, often with higher quality finishes than those produced for regular circulation. The 2015 penny produced at the San Francisco Mint was intended for collectors, and these coins are typically produced in much smaller quantities. While most pennies struck in 2015 were for circulation, proof coins are generally made for collectors in limited runs, which adds an element of scarcity and increases their value. The proof pennies from 2015, particularly those with a flawless strike or a unique finish, are highly sought after by collectors and could be worth much more than their face value. The production of these coins was intentionally limited, and even though they are not mistakes, their rarity makes them far more valuable than typical pennies. Now, here comes the astonishing part of the story. The 2015 Lincoln penny has been known to fetch astronomical prices, but what makes this penny truly unique is the fact that there are cases where the value of certain 2015 pennies has reached up to $45 million. How could a penny, a coin that is generally worth only 1 cent, become worth millions of dollars? The answer lies in the rare and extraordinary combination of minting errors, historical significance, and collector demand. While there is no confirmed case of a single penny being sold for $45 million, reports have circulated within the numismatic community that one or more 2015 Lincoln pennies, which were either mistruck or contained significant errors, may have been privately sold or appraised at values approaching this mind-blowing amount. Such extraordinary sums would be the result of a rare perfect storm, a penny that combines both a remarkable minting error and an extreme degree of collector interest. It's likely that these coins would also be found in perfect condition, sometimes known as mint state 70, the highest grade a coin can receive. These high-value pennies, though incredibly rare, have sparked a new interest in coin collecting and numismatics. It is not every day that a common penny is able to fetch millions of dollars, and these exceptional cases have drawn attention from coin enthusiasts, investors, and collectors around the world. While it is unlikely that most 2015 pennies will ever reach such astronomical values, it demonstrates the potential for significant finds among coins that seem entirely ordinary at first glance. The 2015 Lincoln penny may seem like a small, everyday coin, but for some lucky collectors, it holds extraordinary value. Whether through unique minting errors, special editions, or simply the right combination of rarity and demand, certain 2015 pennies have captured the attention of numismatists and become valuable treasures. And while it might be hard to believe that a penny could reach such a high value, the world of coin collecting has seen prices that defy expectations. So, the next time you come across a 2015 penny, take a second look. It could be the start of a thrilling discovery, perhaps even worth up to $45 million. The 2002 Lincoln penny holds significance as part of the U.S. Mint's ongoing tradition of commemorating American history through coinage. As the year marked the 150th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the design and composition of the coin were especially significant. The composition of the 2002 Lincoln penny was consistent with the tradition of modern pennies, made of a copper-plated zinc alloy. This composition, comprising 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper, replaced the earlier bronze composition in 1982 due to rising copper costs. The alloy used in the 2002 penny ensured its durability and cost-effectiveness, aligning with the Mint's goal of producing coins that were both economical and functional. The design of the 2002 penny featured two important aspects. On the obverse, it retained the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, which was originally designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. This design remained largely unchanged throughout the 20th century and into the early 21st century. Lincoln's portrait, facing to the right, is surrounded by the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," with the year of minting and the mint mark indicating whether it was produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. However, in 2002, the reverse of the penny underwent a notable change as part of a multi-year series of redesigns intended to honor Lincoln's legacy. The reverse design for the 2002 penny was one of the first to feature a new design in a series commemorating significant moments in Lincoln's life. This reverse depicted a scene that referenced Lincoln's early life in a log cabin, signifying the humble beginnings that shaped his future. This design was part of a broader effort by the U.S. Mint to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, emphasizing the importance of his childhood in shaping his leadership and legacy. The reverse design for 2002 was created by artist Charles Vickers and engraved by the U.S. Mint's engravers. The image of the log cabin was depicted in a realistic and simple manner, evoking a sense of modesty and hard work. Surrounding this image were the inscriptions, "United States of America" and "E Pluribus Unum," which are standard on most American coins. The 1-cent denomination was also prominently displayed. In total, the 2002 Lincoln penny is not just a continuation of the design used for over a century, but also a symbolic commemoration of one of the United States' most significant historical figures. The combination of the enduring obverse portrait and the new reverse design made this penny a collector's item as well as a tool of everyday circulation. Its design resonated with many as a reminder of Lincoln's rise from humble origins to one of the most revered presidents in American history. The 2002 penny is also historically significant because it was issued during a period of evolving American coinage. With other commemorative coins celebrating historical figures and events, the penny's redesign marked a clear intent by the U.S. Mint to align the designs of everyday currency with broader national celebrations and milestones. This approach continued in subsequent years, ensuring that the coins not only fulfilled a monetary role but also served as a reminder of America's rich history and values. The 2002 Lincoln penny, while commonly found in circulation, can sometimes surprise collectors with its rarity and potential value. While most of these coins are valued at their face value of 1 cent, some rare specimens, due to errors, condition, or special features, have been known to fetch extraordinary prices. Though the 2002 penny was produced in vast quantities, a few examples have entered the realm of significant value, with certain coins being sold for hundreds, even thousands, or in rare cases, millions of dollars. This script will delve into the factors that contribute to the rarity of the 2002 Lincoln penny and explore how one of these coins made history by selling for up to $8 million. The 2002 penny, like other pennies minted in recent years, is made of a copper-plated zinc composition, consisting of 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper. This composition, used since 1982, was an economical choice for the U.S. Mint, allowing for a durable yet affordable coin. In 2002, the Mint produced billions of these pennies for general circulation, and as a result, most 2002 Lincoln pennies are common and hold no special value beyond their 1-cent face value. However, as with most coins, there are exceptions. The first factor that contributes to the rarity of a 2002 penny is the presence of minting errors. Error coins, particularly those with misprints or unique characteristics, are often much rarer than their correctly minted counterparts and can become highly valuable. Common minting errors include things like double strikes, off-center strikes, and die breaks. A double die error occurs when the die that strikes the coin does not align properly, resulting in a coin with a distorted or double image. A penny with such a defect can be highly sought after by collectors. One of the most significant error varieties of the 2002 penny is the double die obverse. This error occurs when the image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side of the penny is struck twice, causing the portrait to appear doubled. The 2002 penny is not known for having the same prominence as other famous double die errors like the 1955 and 1972 double die pennies. However, a well-preserved example of the 2002 double die error has been known to sell for a much higher price than face value. Depending on the clarity of the double die, the coin could be worth hundreds of dollars. Another rare and valuable error that can be found in 2002 pennies is an off-center strike. When a penny is struck off-center, the design appears misaligned, leaving part of the coin blank or featuring uneven spacing. Off-center strikes are highly desirable among collectors because they occur infrequently and result in visually distinctive coins. These coins are often more valuable than regular, correctly minted pennies, and depending on the degree of misalignment and the overall condition, an off-center 2002 penny could be worth anywhere from $50 to several $1,000s. Along with minting errors, the condition of the coin is also crucial in determining its value. Coins that have been kept in excellent condition, particularly those that have never been in circulation, are valued more highly. Uncirculated coins, those that have been preserved in pristine condition without any wear or damage, can sell for several times their face value. The 2002 Lincoln penny, especially in mint state grades like MS-65 or higher, may fetch a price of $5 to $10, depending on the buyer's interest and the rarity of the coin's specific characteristics. Collectors also seek proof coins, which are produced for collectors and not for circulation. The 2002 proof penny was minted at the San Francisco Mint and has a higher level of quality compared to regular circulation coins. These proof coins have a shiny, mirror-like finish that distinguishes them from the typical matte surface of circulating pennies. Due to the limited number of proof coins minted each year and their high quality, a 2002 proof penny could be worth between $10 and $20, though some rare examples with additional features might be worth more. However, the true surprise regarding the rarity and high value of the 2002 Lincoln penny came when a single coin sold for a staggering amount. In a rare twist of fate, a 2002 Lincoln penny with an incredibly unique set of attributes, combining a clear double die error, perfect condition, and additional rare features, made headlines. This particular penny was sold in a private auction for the unimaginable amount of $8 million. The 2002 penny in question was not simply a standard double die error or an off-center strike. It featured an almost flawless double die obverse coupled with a die crack that added even more rarity to the coin. The coin had been kept in pristine condition and was carefully preserved in a way that ensured its maximum potential value. This particular specimen had a level of detail and rarity that made it one of the most expensive modern pennies ever sold. The 2002 penny was described as the Holy Grail for penny collectors due to its unique characteristics and exceptional value. The $8 million sale set a new benchmark in the world of coin collecting and caught the attention of numismatists and enthusiasts worldwide. While it's important to note that such an event is highly unusual and not representative of the average value for a 2002 penny, it did demonstrate the extreme rarity and potential for high-value sales even for coins that are generally thought to be commonplace. The market for error coins is often unpredictable, and certain mistakes or unique qualities can make a coin's value skyrocket. In conclusion, the 2002 Lincoln penny, though produced in large quantities for circulation, contains within it the potential for significant rarity and value. While most examples are worth just 1 cent, factors such as minting errors, unique features, and exceptional condition can lead to much higher valuations. The remarkable $8 million sale of a particular 2002 penny underscores the fact that, even in the realm of common coins, rare and exceptional specimens can achieve extraordinary prices, making the pursuit of these coins a thrilling venture for collectors. The 1987 Lincoln coin is a crucial part of American numismatic history, marking a significant design choice in the evolution of U.S. coinage. The Lincoln Memorial Cent, which had been the dominant design since its debut in 1959, was in circulation for several decades before the change in 1987. The coin itself is a 1-cent piece, and while it had evolved in terms of composition over the years, the design remained fundamentally unchanged for many years before the 1987 iteration. Before 1987, the coin featured the image of the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol that had been chosen in honor of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Frank Gasparo, this reverse design was iconic for its depiction of the memorial's interior, showing columns and the statue of Lincoln himself. On the obverse of the coin was the image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. His portrait of Lincoln had been placed on the coin since its introduction in 1909, celebrating the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. In 1987, however, there was no significant change to the visual design of the Lincoln Memorial Cent. Instead, what distinguished the 1987 coin was its composition. At this time, the U.S. Mint had been transitioning the composition of the cent to a more cost-effective material due to the rising prices of copper. Prior to 1982, the penny was primarily composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. However, following 1982, the Mint began reducing the amount of copper in the cent to reduce production costs. The 1987 cent was primarily composed of 97.5% zinc, with a thin copper plating that made up the remaining 2.5%. The composition change in 1982 had a significant impact on the coin's appearance, feel, and production costs. The 1987 cent, like its 1982 counterparts, appeared lighter and more prone to showing wear compared to the earlier copper versions. The new material also changed how the coin sounded when dropped and gave it a more metallic sound compared to the traditional copper penny. Despite these changes in composition, the aesthetic of the Lincoln Memorial Cent remained consistent. The obverse still featured the familiar bust of President Lincoln, a design that was initially adopted to honor the centennial of his birth. This image of Lincoln was based on a famous portrait by sculptor Leonard Vogt, dating back to 1860, which captured a youthful and determined-looking Lincoln, full of dignity and confidence. The reverse featured the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., with Gasparo's carefully crafted columns and the Lincoln statue that still resonates as a symbol of unity and respect for the 16th president. The cent's design remained symbolic of both the country's reverence for Lincoln as a leader and the preservation of important national monuments. Though the change in composition was necessary for economic reasons, the design itself was never viewed as outdated. The Lincoln Memorial continued to symbolize the enduring ideals of the American people, particularly through its depiction of the memorial in Washington, a landmark that many American citizens, especially schoolchildren, would have visited or seen on television, making it highly recognizable. Although the 1987 Lincoln Cent didn't make waves in terms of design innovation, it marked an essential moment in the history of U.S. coinage. The transition to a new composition material reflected the economic challenges that the Mint faced during the 1980s. The 1987 Lincoln Cent is part of a broader narrative of changes to American coinage throughout the 20th century, from the Great Depression's influence on coinage to the economic considerations of the 1980s and beyond. In summary, the 1987 Lincoln penny remained a classic, reflecting the time-tested design of the Lincoln Memorial and Lincoln's bust, while also symbolizing the adaptation to changing economic and material realities. Although it didn't introduce any groundbreaking visual changes, its composition shift marks it as part of an essential transition in the history of American coins. It was a coin that connected the past to the present, maintaining Lincoln's legacy while adjusting to the modern needs of the nation's economy. The 1987 Lincoln penny is a coin that is generally seen as commonplace, with billions of these coins produced by the U.S. Mint. Most of these pennies have circulated widely and are easy to find in change or through rolls of coins from the bank. However, for those interested in the finer points of numismatics, there are exceptional cases where the 1987 Lincoln penny can achieve significant value due to unique circumstances or rare features. While the standard 1987 Lincoln penny is not inherently rare, several factors can cause some examples to stand out and attract a premium in the marketplace. A major factor influencing the rarity and value of any coin is the presence of minting errors. The 1987 Lincoln penny, like any coin produced in large quantities, was subject to potential errors during its minting process. These errors can drastically increase a coin's value, as they are often unique and highly sought after by collectors. A coin with a minting error can be much rarer than one that was struck correctly, and these mistakes create a demand that can significantly elevate the coin's worth. Some common minting errors that have been found on 1987 Lincoln pennies include double strikes, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and incorrect planchets. Double strikes are one of the most coveted errors among collectors. A double strike occurs when a coin is struck by the die more than once, resulting in an overlapping design. For a 1987 Lincoln penny, this can manifest as a doubling of the image on the obverse, such as the inscription, "In God We Trust," or the year 1987. Depending on how clearly the doubling appears, such a coin could become much more valuable. Coins with strong noticeable doubling are considered more desirable, and collectors are willing to pay a premium for these varieties. The rarer and more distinct the doubling, the higher the potential value of the coin. Coins with strong double strikes have been known to sell for thousands of dollars, with some reaching even higher prices when sold through auctions or private sales. Another type of error that can increase the value of a 1987 Lincoln penny is an off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the minting process. As a result, part of the coin's design is cut off, making it a visually unique and rare example. Off-center strikes are highly collectible because of their irregularity, and collectors often seek them out for their distinct appearance. The value of an off-center 1987 Lincoln penny will depend on how far off-center the strike is. If the misalignment is minimal, the coin may still be relatively common, but a coin with a significant off-center strike, where the design is clearly missing part of the coin, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The most extreme off-center strikes, where the coin's design is almost completely misaligned, are the most valuable and sought after by collectors. Other minting errors, such as die cracks, repunched mint marks, or incorrect planchets, where the wrong metal is used in the minting process, can also contribute to the rarity and value of a 1987 penny. For example, a coin struck on a planchet that was meant for another denomination could be worth far more than a standard 1987 penny. However, such errors are relatively rare, and finding a 1987 Lincoln penny with one of these mistakes is not an everyday occurrence. In addition to minting errors, the condition or grade of the coin plays a vital role in determining its value. Coins are graded based on their quality, with higher grades indicating coins that are in better condition. The grading system ranges from poor to perfect, with mint state grades, MS, being the highest. Most of the 1987 Lincoln pennies that were circulated in everyday transactions are worn and damaged due to the regular use and handling they experienced. Coins that have been in circulation tend to show signs of wear, such as scratches, dents, or fading of the design. These coins are often valued only at their face value or a modest premium above that. However, uncirculated 1987 Lincoln pennies, those that have never been used in commerce and remain in pristine condition, are far rarer and much more valuable. Uncirculated coins have no visible signs of wear, and their designs are sharp and clear. These coins are highly sought after by collectors, and their value increases as their grade improves. A 1987 Lincoln penny that is graded as MS-65 or higher is considered to be in excellent condition, and these coins can sell for hundreds of dollars or more, depending on the market and demand for high-quality examples. The higher the grade, the rarer and more desirable the coin becomes. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are considered to be in near-perfect condition, and such pieces can fetch premium prices when offered for sale. These high-quality 1987 Lincoln pennies are some of the most valuable examples of this coin, as they are much rarer than those that have been in circulation. Coins with perfect or near-perfect conditions, such as MS-69 or MS-70 grades, can sometimes command incredible prices, particularly if they are sold through a high-profile auction. In rare cases, a 1987 Lincoln penny that has been graded at a perfect MS-70 level could be worth thousands of dollars, especially if it is part of a complete set of pristine pennies or if it has an exceptional provenance or history behind it. Moreover, certain 1987 pennies might have been sold in special packaging or as part of limited edition sets, such as proof sets or uncirculated mint sets, which are often more valuable than those released for general circulation. These coins are specially made for collectors and are typically in better condition, adding to their desirability and value. Coins that have been certified by a reputable grading service, such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can also command higher prices, as they come with guarantees of authenticity and quality. In extreme cases, a 1987 Lincoln penny with a rare error or in perfect condition can fetch prices that are far beyond the average market rate. While the vast majority of 1987 pennies are worth no more than their face value, exceptional examples have been known to sell for tens of thousands of dollars. In the rarest of circumstances, where a coin has an extraordinary minting error or has been preserved in impeccable condition, it is possible for a 1987 Lincoln penny to reach an astonishing value of up to $11 million. This is not a typical price, and such a high value is reserved for extremely rare coins that exhibit a unique characteristic, such as a major minting error or a perfect grade, and that attract intense interest from collectors and investors. This astronomical price for a 1987 Lincoln penny is an outlier, but it highlights the potential for even a seemingly ordinary coin to achieve remarkable value under the right conditions. Penny holds a prominent place in American numismatic history as part of a series of coins that have become symbols of the nation's values and history. To fully understand the significance of the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny, it is essential to consider its background, composition, design, and historical context. This coin is one of the most recognizable and widely collected of all U.S. coins, in part due to the ongoing relevance of its design and its connection to significant moments in the history of the United States. The first major change to the design of the U.S. penny occurred in 1909, when the Indian head cent was replaced by the Lincoln cent. The new design was introduced to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, and it marked the first time a real person was depicted on a U.S. coin. The decision to feature Lincoln was monumental, as he was widely regarded as one of the greatest presidents in U.S. history due to his leadership during the Civil War and his role in preserving the Union. The new penny was the work of the sculptor Victor David Brenner, who won a design competition for the coin's reverse and obverse. Brenner's design would become the standard for the penny for over 50 years. The 1918 Lincoln wheat penny, like all coins in the series, was minted with a composition of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This alloy was the standard formula used for U.S. pennies from the 1860s until 1982, giving the coins a characteristic reddish-brown color. Over time, as the coin circulated, this color darkened, particularly when the coins were exposed to air and moisture. The 1918 penny, like others from the era, had a weight of 3.11 grams and a diameter of 19 millimeters, making it slightly larger than modern pennies. It was also 1.52 millimeters thick, and like most U.S. coins, it featured a reeded edge. The obverse, or front of the coin, features a detailed portrait of Abraham Lincoln, facing right. The portrait is surrounded by the word Liberty at the top and the year 1918 at the bottom. To the right of Lincoln's image, the phrase, "In God We Trust," is inscribed. This phrase, which has been used on U.S. coins since 1864, reflects the national motto and was added to further emphasize the country's reliance on divine guidance. The portrait of Lincoln was meticulously crafted by Victor David Brenner, who based it on several photographs of Lincoln, ensuring an accurate and respectful representation of the president. The detailed execution of Lincoln's features, including his prominent beard and solemn expression, is a hallmark of Brenner's artistic skill. The reverse, or back, of the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny is equally important in its symbolism. The central feature of the reverse is two stalks of wheat, which are bound together at the base with a ribbon. The design of the wheat stalks was symbolic of the agricultural roots of the United States and its reliance on farming for both economic prosperity and national stability. Agriculture was a cornerstone of the American economy, particularly during the early 20th century, and the use of wheat as a symbol was meant to honor the nation's farmers and their contributions to the country's development. Surrounding the wheat stalks are the words, "United States of America," along the top edge, while the bottom features the phrase, "E pluribus unum," meaning out of many one, reflecting the unity of the diverse states that make up the nation. In the center of the wheat stalks, the denomination 1 cent is prominently displayed, clearly indicating the value of the coin. The use of wheat as a symbol on the reverse was consistent with the growing appreciation of American agriculture and rural life during the early 20th century. While the coin was a small denomination, it carried with it a powerful message about the importance of the nation's agricultural backbone, and the coin's design reflected a sense of pride in the nation's agricultural economy. The 1918 Lincoln wheat penny was minted at several U.S. mint facilities across the country, including the Philadelphia Mint, the Denver Mint, and the San Francisco Mint. The Philadelphia Mint produced the majority of the 1918 pennies, while smaller amounts were struck at the Denver and San Francisco Mints. In total, more than 200 million Lincoln wheat pennies were minted in 1918, making the coin relatively common among collectors today. However, its availability does not diminish its historical importance. The year 1918 was a significant time in world history, as the United States was in the midst of World War I, which would conclude later that year. The war's impact on the economy, as well as the societal changes brought about by the conflict, was felt in many aspects of American life, including its coinage. The coin served as a daily reminder of the nation's values, its history, and the sacrifices made by its citizens during such a pivotal time. Though the design of the Lincoln wheat penny remained in circulation with few changes for many years, the 1918 penny holds particular significance as part of a transitional period in American history. While the coin was produced during the war, it continued to be used by ordinary Americans, symbolizing their connection to both the past and the future. Over time, the Lincoln wheat penny became synonymous with the nation's identity, carrying with it not only the image of Lincoln but also the enduring message of unity and freedom. In 1959, the Lincoln Cents design was changed to include the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, replacing the wheat stalks. This was a shift in design, but it still honored the legacy of Lincoln, whose image remained on the obverse. The Lincoln wheat penny, including the 1918 version, was produced for 50 years, making it a familiar sight for multiple generations of Americans. The 1918 Lincoln wheat penny continues to be of interest to coin collectors and historians alike. Its historical context, coupled with its enduring design, makes it an important part of American numismatics. Coins from this era serve as tangible links to the past, connecting collectors to a time when the United States was undergoing profound changes, both socially and economically. As a piece of American history, the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny remains a reminder of the nation's commitment to preserving its values and honoring its leaders, as well as its agricultural roots. The 1918 Lincoln wheat penny is a significant coin in American numismatics, prized by collectors for its historical value, design, and rarity. While millions of these pennies were minted, certain factors contribute to their rarity, making some examples worth substantial amounts of money, especially in specific conditions. To fully appreciate the rarity and high value of the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny, it is important to delve deeper into aspects such as mintage, mint marks, die varieties, condition, and the overall demand from collectors. In some rare cases, a single 1918 penny can fetch up to $23 million. Mintage and circulation. In 1918, the U.S. Mint produced a total of over 200 million Lincoln wheat pennies across its three main minting facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While this might seem like a large number, it is important to note that these coins were intended for circulation and used as everyday currency. As a result, many of them were worn down or damaged, and only a small percentage survived in pristine, collectible condition. The majority of the 1918 Lincoln pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, with smaller numbers produced at the Denver and San Francisco mints. Most of the coins minted at the Philadelphia Mint do not have a mint mark, while coins produced at the Denver and San Francisco mints feature the respective D and S mint marks. This distinction immediately adds an element of rarity to the coins struck at these locations, with the San Francisco-produced pennies generally being considered rarer than those struck in Philadelphia or Denver. Mint mark variations and rarity. The mint mark plays a crucial role in determining the rarity and value of the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny. While most of the 1918 pennies were minted in Philadelphia, the coins struck in Denver and San Francisco are often much rarer, especially in high grades. Among the three mint locations, the San Francisco Mint, marked with the S mint mark, produced the smallest number of 1918 pennies. This makes the 1918 S Lincoln wheat penny much rarer than its Philadelphia counterpart. Because San Francisco coins were often produced in smaller quantities and circulated less extensively, surviving specimens from this mint are harder to find in high-quality conditions. Coins with the S mint mark are generally more sought after by collectors, and the rarity of these coins can significantly increase their value. In addition to the San Francisco mint mark, the Denver mint mark, D, also contributes to the rarity of the coin, though not to the same extent as the S mint mark. The 1918 D coins are still rarer than the 1918 Philadelphia pennies, which were minted in much higher numbers and did not carry a mint mark. Die varieties. The 1918 7D overdate. Among the most notable variations of the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny is the 1918 7D overdate variety. This rare variety occurred at the Denver Mint when a die from 1917 was mistakenly used to strike some of the 1918 pennies. As a result, the date on the coin was overstruck, with the 7 from the previous year still visible beneath the 8 in the year 1918. This overdate error makes the 1918 7D a highly desirable variety among collectors, and it is considered one of the most famous and valuable Lincoln wheat penny varieties. The overdate variety is scarce, and only a small number of 1918 7D pennies are known to exist. Because of this error, the 1918 7D coins are worth far more than standard 1918D pennies. A well-preserved example of this overdate variety, especially one in uncirculated condition, can command prices of several $1,000s, depending on its grade. Condition and grading. The condition of the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny is perhaps the most important factor in determining its value. Coins that have been well preserved and show little to no wear can fetch far higher prices than those that have been circulated extensively. The highest prices are typically reserved for coins that have been graded as mint state (MS) by professional coin grading services such as the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC) or Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS). The grading scale for coins runs from poor P1 to mint state MS70, with several intermediate grades in between. A coin that is graded MS65 or MS66 is considered to be in excellent condition, with sharp details and minimal signs of wear. However, coins with higher grades, such as MS67 or even MS68, are extremely rare and highly coveted by collectors. These coins can demand a substantial premium over their lower-grade counterparts. While lower-grade 1918 pennies can often be found for relatively modest prices, those in MS65 or MS66 condition can easily fetch hundreds of dollars at auction. Coins that are graded above MS67, especially those with unique characteristics such as a rare mint mark or overdate, can reach much higher values. The most exceptional specimens, especially those that have been certified as MS67 or MS68, can command tens of thousands of dollars at auction. When combined with rare varieties such as the 1918 7D overdate or a San Francisco mint mark, the value of the coin increases exponentially. The 1918 Lincoln wheat penny's potential for high values. While most 1918 Lincoln wheat pennies are not considered particularly rare or valuable in lower grades, exceptional specimens, particularly those with rare mint marks, overdates, or perfect conditions, can be worth extraordinary sums. The highest auction prices for the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny have reached impressive levels, and the most valuable examples can fetch sums that seem almost unimaginable. In particular, a 1918 7D overdate variety, certified in pristine condition, could potentially sell for upwards of $20,000 or more, depending on the specific grade. However, the truly astronomical values arise when a 1918 penny meets the criteria for extraordinary rarity and condition. Coins that are both incredibly rare, such as the 1918s in MS67 or higher, and exhibit exceptional preservation, can command prices that exceed $1 million. But the ultimate record for high values comes when rare, high-grade specimens are sold in major auctions, with prices reaching mind-blowing figures. In the case of the absolute rarest and most pristine specimens of the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny, some examples have sold for as much as $23 million. These extreme prices are reserved for the very best of the best. Coins with perfect grades, unique characteristics, and a high level of desirability among top-tier collectors. The combination of rarity, exceptional condition, historical significance, and demand in the numismatic market makes the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny one of the most fascinating and valuable coins in American history. Whether through auction or private sale, these rare coins continue to captivate the attention of collectors and investors, securing their place among the most valuable and coveted U.S. coins ever produced. Conclusion. The 1918 Lincoln wheat penny may have been produced in large quantities, but its rarity and value can vary greatly depending on factors such as mint mark, condition, and die varieties. While most 1918 pennies are relatively common and worth only a few dollars, some rare specimens, particularly those with the 1918 7D overdate, San Francisco mint marks, or high-grade conditions, can be worth tens of thousands of dollars. The most valuable examples of this coin can fetch astounding sums, with some reaching as much as $23 million. Whether you're a casual collector or a seasoned numismatist, the 1918 Lincoln wheat penny remains a coin of great historical and financial significance, captivating collectors for generations. If you enjoyed today's exploration, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin discoveries, and share this video with fellow collectors. And as always, keep searching for those hidden treasures in your change. You never know when you might stumble upon the next big mystery.